folks, Brian and John coming at you from Trails Inn Cabin here in Wisconsin. We've been hunting out of the Trophyline tree saddle this year and have been really enjoying it. Been posting a lot of pictures and videos on social and have gotten a lot of questions about our setup, how we do it, and stuff like that from both people that are totally new to it, who haven't even tried saddle hunting out, but they're thinking about it, to people that have been doing it for a long time. And we're always looking to improve our method and to make things quicker and more efficient when trying to doing the mobile hunting on public land and the run and gun style. So we're gonna go over what we use and how we set up. So first of all, I have my initial Ascent pack. Being an avid Western hunter, this is my pack that I use for Western hunting, for elk hunting. And it works great for whitetail hunting too. So it has some key features which we'll get into when it comes to setting up your sticks and stand, or platform in this case. And then of course we have the Trophyline sticks, their mission platform, and their saddle that you'll see once I get things out here. So the first thing we do is just start taking things out of the pack. You may or may not have rattling antlers or sticks. This time of year, I'm always carrying them with. Of course, I mean, you want to be obviously pretty methodical with stuff, and that's the one thing that I do try to do well, is everything has a place in your pack. It always goes back in the same pocket, so you know exactly where it's at when it comes time to having to utilize it. So I got the mission platform right there. I have the sticks. I keep the sticks underneath my lid. So I have the sticks right here in the platform. And then in one of the outer pockets here, I have my bowstring, bright yellow because I'm colorblind, and this is how I find my tree sometimes. I can see yellow. And then I have all my straps here for my sticks. I take those off every time so that they're not getting caught on brush and stuff as you're walking through the woods. Okay. Then in the actual pack here, I have this is where I carry my extra layers and my actual saddle. I don't wear my saddle in and out of the woods because I always run warm and I don't want extra stuff on me that's gonna get me all sweaty. So I keep it in the bag that it comes with. And everything goes back in the pack. I don't leave anything at the base of the tree. This is the Trophyline Ambush Light. It's their mesh one. I'm horrible with names, sorry. But it's the mesh one. They have two styles, one that's mesh for when it's warmer, and then one that's a little thicker material that keeps you a little bit more warm. First thing I do, actually, the first thing I do is this. I get my sticks ready, because again, we have probably walked a fair distance to get to our tree here, and I'm just getting organized, let myself cool off as I do this. We set up, if it's just one of us, we have everything utilized or efficient to the point where we go up the tree once. We're not coming up and down the tree several times. Not that I'm opposed to that. It's just you're more efficient if you can get your setup to be that way. So before I do anything else, even before I put the saddle on, I put my first stick on. When I put the stick on, I try to put the strap at or above the button here, so it doesn't allow much sag. And I try to I get them up as high as I can. I'm 5'8", going on 6'4", so I try to have as big as steps as I can. But yeah. And then this may not be the safest thing to do, but I always put the first 2 sticks on before I do anything else. Okay. Then, saddle. Your saddle's on, lineman's belt, which is very important. Knee pads are a must. And these are Trophyline knee pads. And I put them so that the buckles are on the outside of the legs. That way when you're in the saddle, you don't have the plastic buckles rubbing each other. So I always put them on the outside. Some people say you don't need them. I mean, they are warm if you're gonna walk around. I don't advise walking around with them on, but I tell you what, it saves your knees and you're much more comfortable. Now, for here, these are the Trophyline sticks. There's 4 of them. And they're a little shorter, which makes it nice to pack in and be more mobile. What I do though is that the top step on each stick is going to be facing the opposite direction that I'm going to have the platform. So I'm going to have the platform on this side of the tree. So the one thing I do with my tote rope is tie it to the saddle so that it's always connected to you. Then I get the other stuff situated. So I throw the pack back on. And on this initial Ascent frame, it's a carbon fiber frame, it's super light, but there's 2 little hooks off the side. I know they have a special name to them, but again, I'm horrible with names and I forget what they're called. But what they're made for is for when you're quartering out an animal out west and you have to carry out the quarters, you can actually hook the meat bags on the sides. But I'm going to show you what I do with it here in a second. The platform to take up. Again, when you're setting stuff up like this, I like to think you have to be very... So I take the platform and I put it right over one of the ears so it's hanging off the pack. Take a stick, put it on the other side, and then the other stick. Now I got everything I need to finish the job. Use a lineman's belt, especially when you have all this gear on you. The one thing we've modified to the Trophyline is instead of the Persic knot on the lineman's belt and the tether, which you'll see, we put the Ropeman ascenders on to make it a more single arm user friendly setup. Makes the setup, I think, safer and quicker. Folks, now that we're basically up, we're still tied in with the lineman's belt that still has us secured. Now the first thing I do is I put the tether, which is in my pouch on my left side, which is basically the same thing as the lineman's belt. It's just this is what is going to have you tethered to the tree. So on trees like this, pine, where the bark is pretty slippery and there's not much of grab there, what I do is I get it where I want it. Usually for me it's about head height. Some people like it lower, some people like it higher. I even play around with it if I'm sitting for a long amount of time. I'll play around with it. There's no set height that you want the tether to be. It's your personal preference. But on slippery trees like this, what I'll do is take it and go through that knot or go through that loop twice, because what that does, it just cinches that down to the tree a little bit more where it's not going to move as much. Then take the carabiner that's connected to the Ropeman and attach that to the bridge and lock that in. Now I'm connected in 2 spots. I'll tighten that up, okay? As I slowly let this one out, and I put pressure on this until I know that I'm fully secured by the tether and the bridge right there. Okay. Then what I do, is I take the lineman's belt off and hook it back here. So I'm now secured to the tree. I have the original Persic knot, the cordage, still on the tether, because what I use with that, now I take my pack off and I have a carabiner attached to it, and I hang my pack from it so that I can get my strap that has my bow arm and hooks on it. So here I have a strap for all my hooks and my bow arm. And now what I do is take this and I put this underneath where my tether is. Strap that around. I hook that up and I get this in position. So now that I have all that situated, I now take my pack off of this Persic knot and I attach it to that hook. I have my pack right here. If the tree isn't too big around, I actually take the waist belt and I strap it all the way around the tree, because now I have my pocket right here on this side that has snacks, or you can put calls in here, you could, whatever you want to put in there that you can have right there. That's super handy for you. Okay, so now we have everything up here. It's time to lift the base. Take my sticks, just hang them there right now to get them out of the way. Get my bow set up there. Sticks I usually put over here. Now I'm ready to hunt. I have everything I need. Usually I have my rangefinder in my pocket. I almost always have a bino harness, but with this tether system, my harness gets in the way. So I keep my rangefinder handy for the walk-in in case I have to use it on the way in. It's got a little clip on it. I clip it right there on my tether, and I'll take the hook and I'll attach that to the wire that's on the rope end. That way if I have to use it and let it hang, I can let it hang or whatever. It's right there, it's not gonna fall out. In this pocket, this is where I have my binos to use them for glassing, right there in my side pocket. I have not had them fall out. It's a pretty deep pocket. So that's just how I use it with the saddle, so that nothing is hanging off of me. It's right there on my side. I usually, if I don't forget, I take my bowstring and I attach it to another hook over here, so that is out of the way. And that's that. We get a lot of questions about comfort. Are these things comfortable to sit all day? Do your legs fall asleep? Do your feet fall asleep? Do you have any pinch points? All that kind of stuff. So what we want to show you next is just all the different positions that you can be in when you're hunting. Not even shooting positions, but just positions that you're in when you're, 99% of the time when you're in your stand. So right now I'm fairly straight up. If I want it to, I can pull this up even tighter. And now I'm practically standing in the tree with no pressure on my hips, all the pressure on my legs and feet. So if you do want to stand for a little bit, you still can. It's not, just because you're in a saddle doesn't mean that you can't actually stand on this platform. Now some people use a ring of steps instead of the platform that Trophyline has, and to each his own, whatever you want to do, but I highly recommend this platform. To allow yourself to basically squat or sit like you're in a stand. So here, I'm just hanging out as if this is as I'm sitting. Knees are bent quite a bit. Some people won't like being this deep. So you just tighten up that rope and you're a couple inches higher. I mean, you have infinite amount of adjustment on the saddle. So if you are sitting for hours at a time and you do feel like the blood's getting pinched off or your feet are falling asleep, there's so many minute adjustments that you can do, is really not an issue. Whereas I've hunted for years, decades out of a traditional tree stand, and when you're in that, you only have two positions, fully seated or fully standing. In a saddle, you have all of these different positions that you can be in, okay? So I can be here. This is where the knee pads come in handy. Usually, when I'm just hanging out, I have a little bit more slack on the tether, and I'm like this. This is how I spend most of the time. And then I have my binoculars right here, and I'm just glassing around, okay? If I want to see what's behind me, I bend my knees and I swing around, and I can glass behind me this way, or I can turn real quietly. Now I can glass back this way. Okay? I can just hang out here for a little bit. If I wanted to stand, so I can stand and twirl that around and adjust this, adjust the tether, and now I can stand here like it's a traditional tree stand, and I'm still tethered in, it's still 100% safe, okay? So a lot of different options. Now, when it comes to shooting, or I guess before we actually grab the bow, I'll show you this platform. So this platform, the Trophyline platform, it's the mission platform, is solid. Now, it does move a little bit depending on the tree that you're in. You know, again, this pine tree doesn't have a very grippy bark. If you're in an oak or something where the bark, those teeth can grab a hold of a little bit better, it doesn't move at all. But I can come all the way out here and stand on this side. All the pressure is on the side here. Again, standing on it straight on. Or I can come here, put my back to you here, and stand all the way this way. Again, putting all my pressure on this one side right here. It's got the extra step here, so if you want to put your feet up a little bit, just to, again, take pressure off. If you're feeling pressure anywhere, you can adjust, you can move your feet around to relieve that pressure if you are feeling it. So when it comes time to shooting, so I'll grab my bow. Again, infinite amounts of shot angles. Ideally, just like in a stand, your best shot opportunity is going to be off your bow arm. So your left arm if you're right-handed, your right arm if you're left-handed. But what this does is that when you're at full draw, I'll go full draw here. Okay, you're anchored in, and it's very easy to move your hips to have proper form. I can come down, and now look at this. Now I can come all the way around, okay? I can swing back, all the way back behind me, okay? So 180 degrees right there. If John wasn't right here, I would show you that I could bring that bow and I could even swing around this even further. If my bow isn't in the way right here, I could swing around even further. Or let's say there's a deer off your weak side. You could stand up right here, you have your bow, and bam, you have a shot off of the side that you normally probably wouldn't have a shot. I understand why people have these questions about the comfort and being able to sit all day, because it looks like it's not comfortable. But once you're in them, you probably won't regret it. I do highly recommend though that you don't get one and go out for an all-day sit. You know, it took John and I probably 3 to 4 or 5 different sits to get things situated on where to place things, how to do things, where you want your tether height. So it's definitely not a system that you can just go and buy and be 100% comfortable with right away. Because coming from a traditional tree stand where you have the tree behind you to something like this where you're hanging and you feel like you might fall backwards. I mean, this is our setup. I mean, it's pretty simple. Like I said, the most common question we had, and we had a lot of them, was comfort. Like, can you sit all day? And the answer is yes. Once you get used to it, you can. But again, you're probably not going to do it right away. I mean, you can, you just may not be confident in yourself of just hanging here from the tree. But yeah, I mean, you can, once you're comfortable with it, you can do a lot of different stuff with it. Even if you want to take this, give yourself a lot of slack, you could even sit down on your platform. Let's say you're sitting in a tree all day and you're just kind of bored or just wanted something different. You could, you know, if you had your tether at the right height, which I do, I have enough rope here, you could sit your butt all the way down there on that platform. And that's that. Once I'm down, I put everything back in the home that it belongs to so that I know exactly where it's at for the next time I come out. But you can be, I bet you can be back down the tree and everything packed up. I mean, if you were in a hurry because your wife has dinner ready for you at home, you could probably be down the tree and packed up within 10 minutes. Just be safe and wear your lineman's belt so that you can come back and hunt another day.